Well, the Canada-U.S. border has been closed for almost 7 months now. And for people who are living in Canada's many border communities, that has really changed how they work, where they shop, who's coming in, and a lot of other aspects of their daily lives. So between the pandemic and then the contentious election happening in just 3 weeks right next door, people living along the border have a lot that they're watching for. And over the next few weeks, we're going to speak with Canadians who live along those border communities to find out if the upcoming election is an opportunity for change for them. And this morning, we are joined by Aldo DiCarlo. He is the mayor of Amherstburg, Ontario. Welcome to your morning.
Good morning.
First of all, Amherstburg, for people in the country who might not know, is a beautiful little town. It sits right on the Michigan border, just a short drive to Detroit. Fill us in, how has the pandemic and the border being shut down changed your town in the last 7 months?
I would say the most noticeable difference is in our American tourism. We've always been a draw, not just for people all over the region and across the province. Some people are from across Canada, but right across the Detroit River, one of the narrowest spots is our American neighbors. We're known for being a tourist town, and you really notice, the lack of Americans who are coming over to visit.
Yeah, you describe it this way, that it looks like a Stephen King novel. Some of the areas look almost like ghost towns because you're so used to it being filled with American tourists.
Yeah, it's gotten a little bit better. We've run something called Open Streets, which has brought some people downtown, has really helped our downtown businesses. But compared to, the thousands of people milling about the waterfront this time of year that we would normally have, it really is eerie to drive around, especially at night, and just see nobody. That was especially true at the beginning, and now it's a little bit better, but nowhere near the numbers that we'd like to see.
One of the other unique challenges to border towns is that a lot of people may live in Amherstburg, but they drive across the border to go work if they're essential workers, particularly in healthcare. And that is true of your town.
Yeah, we've got areas that are primarily cottages, smaller homes, but we also have a lot of developed areas now with big summer homes for American people. And I've definitely heard from some of them, reaching out and saying they couldn't come over and they've got issues. Well, I mean, they're sad that they can't come enjoy, at least for part of the year. But, you've got things like trying to keep up their properties that they would normally do. And now they've had to find other people or other means of keeping up. And of course, that's people that would normally be living, spending, just being in our community that's not been possible because of this pandemic.
Let's talk about the pandemic. And one of the other challenges, a lot of people who live in your town cross the border, they work as essential workers. Michigan, we know, has 150,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19, and they've had more than 7,000 deaths. Those numbers are very close to what our national numbers are here in Canada. Talk to me about the challenge of balancing jobs and lives. People need to work, so they're going across to work, but they're also putting themselves on the front line where they've seen various outbreaks, in particular in Detroit, and now they're coming back into the community. How do you manage that?
That is something that's very difficult. It's just balancing the emotions are difficult in that you appreciate what they're doing and the fact that they're saving lives, but they're doing it in a country that clearly doesn't have the restrictions that Canada has. Their numbers, as you mentioned, for one state are so close to the entire country. It is scary. And when those people come back, they don't necessarily isolate. And of course, they're free to move about the community. And that is going to raise some concerns for people. I mean, ultimately, we do thank them for what they do. But they are, working in an environment that is highly susceptible for the transfer of COVID.
Mayor DiCarlo, in the short time we have left, I do want to ask you about the upcoming U.S. election, just 3 weeks away. What are you watching for, and how will the outcome affect your community?
Well, I think everybody's watching over here to see what happens. I'm not going to get into the U.S. politics and who people should vote for or anything like that in this short time and why. But the one thing for sure is what they're doing now just doesn't seem to be working. And I think there's a big hope that the outcome of this election will, at the very least, change what they're doing, improve their numbers, their transfer cases, and we can open the border at some point. If they continue as they are, I just can't see that happening anytime soon. So I think the outcome of this election could make a very big difference on what we see and whether that border reopens soon or it's going to stay closed for much longer.
Mayor DiCarlo, I want to thank you for being with us on your morning. It's a very unique perspective, dealing both with the economic fallout, the health and safety of your town, and as well as taking a look at the U.S. election as you live along the border. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.